After 17 years together, my partner, 43 female, and I separated but are still living under the same roof for financial/kids reasons. Now she's on Tinder, already dating, and I'm left heartbroken, humiliated, and falling apart in front of our two children, 9 and 7. I'm a 46-year-old man living in the UK. For the last 17 years, I've been with my partner, 43 female. We share two kids together, 9 and 7, and on the surface, it probably looks like we're still a family unit. But in reality, she considers us separated. She's emotionally checked out of the relationship, and while we're still under the same roof for financial and practical reasons, we're no longer together in her eyes. It's hard to explain what that feels like. We're still co-parenting, still sharing the day-to-day responsibilities, still eating dinner together as a family sometimes, but there's this unspoken wall between us. A sense that she has already moved on, and I'm left in the ruins of what we used to have. If I'm honest with myself, I can trace back where things began to unravel. I never cheated on her, never betrayed her in that way. But what I did fail at, repeatedly, was showing affection consistently. I withdrew when conflict arose. Instead of leaning in and trying to resolve things, I'd retreat into myself. I thought I was keeping the peace, but really, I was leaving her feeling alone and unsupported. One of the biggest wounds I caused, and one she's never really healed from, was around our engagement and wedding. She always dreamed of a romantic proposal and a big wedding, something memorable and special. What she got instead was me fumbling, failing to rise to the occasion, and avoiding it because of my own insecurities. I grew up in a family of 5 children, and out of all of us, I'm the least successful by traditional measures. My siblings built careers, bought houses, accumulated wealth, while I struggled to get to the same place. By the time the topic of marriage came up, I had no savings for a fancy wedding, no big financial cushion to make her dreams a reality. Instead of being honest about my shame, I let it dictate my actions. I kept putting it off, downplaying it, or doing it half-heartedly, and in the process, I crushed her hopes. I know she felt like she wasn't valued, like I didn't think she was worth the effort. That wasn't true, but my inability to face my own shortcomings made it feel true. A lot of who I am today can be traced back to my childhood. My mother died when I was just 16. She was the most compassionate, caring person I've ever known, and her loss left a permanent mark on me. My father, on the other hand, was distant and cold. He didn't show emotions, didn't do warmth, didn't do reassurance. I learned to avoid conflict and swallow my feelings. I carried that forward into adulthood, into my relationship, and ultimately, it became my greatest failing. I think deep down I've always had this fear of rejection and abandonment. It's like part of me was always braced for people to leave, so I kept myself guarded. But in guarding myself, I ended up pushing away the one person who wanted closeness with me. I thought I was protecting myself, but all I was really doing was hurting her. For over 6 months now, my partner, 43F, and I, 46M, have been living more like housemates than a couple. We've been in separate bedrooms, barely speaking beyond parenting logistics, and the intimacy that once connected us has been gone for a long time. In her mind, the relationship is already over. She has said it outright. This time it's final. She doesn't want to go back, doesn't want to repeat the same patterns that left her feeling unloved and unseen. For her, the focus now is on herself, her self-esteem, her identity, her independence. She says reconciling with me would mean going backwards, undoing all the internal work she started. For me, though, it's not so simple. I still have feelings for her. She's been my partner for 17 years, the mother of my children, and despite everything, I don't want to let go. I've started therapy because I know I played a huge role in how we ended up here. For too long, I was complacent. Whenever conflict arose, I withdrew instead of engaging. If we argued, I'd retreat to silence. It wasn't malicious. It came from my fear of confrontation and rejection, but the result was the same. She felt abandoned, unloved, and unvalued. She would grow angry, and I would disappear further into my shell. This cycle repeated so many times that the damage became irreversible. I even suggested couples counseling, just 3 months as one last attempt, but she rejected it. She told me clearly, no matter what I suggest, it's too late. And the painful part is I believe her. I wasn't blindsided by this. I could see it happening, but I always thought somehow we'd pull through like we had before. I never imagined we'd actually reach the end. But here we are. What makes it so much harder is that she's already moving on. She's been on at least one date. She's on Tinder daily. Her phone pings late at night, and I feel like I'm being torn apart from the inside. I can't stop imagining who she's talking to, what she's saying, if she's laughing with someone the way she used to with me. It's like grieving while still living under the same roof as the person you're grieving. I tried to set one boundary: no dating while we're still cohabiting and raising the kids. It wasn't about controlling her, it was about protecting myself. I told her I needed time, just until the end of the year, less than 4 months. I explained that I couldn't function while simultaneously trying to process the separation and also watching her build new connections in front of me. It's like asking a wound to heal while stabbing it daily. Heartbreak alone is already brutal, but add in humiliation, jealousy, and paranoia. It's too much. There's also the fact that we live in a small town. If someone I know sees her on Tinder, word will spread quickly. I'm not ready for that. I haven't told anyone about our separation yet. Not friends, not family, because I can't even say it out loud without my voice breaking. To have it become public knowledge before I've even processed it myself feels unbearable. She kind of agreed when we talked. She said she wouldn't pursue dating seriously for now, but she left it vague. She admitted she might still talk to people online, maybe just casual conversations. And that's where I feel lost. What does she mean by talking? Is that messaging someone new with the potential for more? Is that setting up future dates for when she feels ready? Is that already crossing the line? I don't know, and the uncertainty is killing me. She might say she'll respect the boundary to spare my feelings, but I can't shake the fear that she'll keep doing things privately anyway. That's the part one struggle with most. I don't know if we're even on the same page anymore about what counts as dating or romantic connections. Every day feels like a new test of endurance. We still see each other at breakfast. We still coordinate the kids' school runs. We still make dinner in the same kitchen. But underneath all of that, there's this unspoken reality. She's already building a life without me. I'm standing still while she's moving forward, and I feel like I'm watching myself get left behind in slow motion. The worst part is the kids. They don't fully understand, but they know something is wrong. They ask questions we don't know how to answer. Why do mom and dad sleep in different rooms? Why don't we go out as a family anymore? We're trying to co-parent, but I can't help feeling like I'm failing them by being so consumed by heartbreak. I want to be strong for them, but most days I feel like a hollow version of myself, just going through the motions. And yes, I blame myself. I let this happen. I avoided conflict when I should have faced it. I withdrew when I should have leaned in. I didn't make her feel loved, and now she's found the strength to say enough. In a way, I respect her for that. But it doesn't make the pain any easier to carry. The reality of my situation hits me harder every day. On paper, I'm holding everything together. I pay the mortgage, the car, the food, the bills, the kids' needs, basically everything. But in truth, I'm not holding it together at all. I can't save a penny, I can't plan for the future, and I can't even afford something as simple as a holiday. Every month, the money comes in and goes straight out again. It's survival mode, not living. She's trying to build a new business, and I don't want to diminish her efforts. I know it takes time for something like that to generate income. But in the meantime, the burden feels lopsided. She does get some benefits, enough to cover her own food and essentials, and one of her parents helps out here and there. But still, the reality is I'm stretched to my absolute limit, financially and emotionally. And on top of the financial strain, there's the isolation. I don't have family or friends to lean on. I've never built that kind of network, partly because of how I grew up. My mom died when I was 16, and my dad wasn't the kind of man to open up or encourage closeness. In my family, separation or divorce was simply unheard of. People stayed no matter how bad it got. And now that I'm the one going through it, the shame and humiliation are overwhelming. I feel like I'm failing not just as a partner, but as a father, as a man. She, on the other hand, has support. She has friends and people in her life who have been through separation and divorce. She can talk to them, lean on them, and get advice from people who actually understand. I don't begrudge her that, but it makes me feel even more alone. It feels like she's moving forward, surrounded by people who get it, while I'm stuck in quicksand, sinking deeper every day. And the hardest part of it all, the part one can't seem to bear, is seeing her on dating apps while we're still living under the same roof. The reality of it is suffocating. The late-night notifications, the sound of her phone pinging while she's lying in the next room swiping through random men in our area, it's like a knife twisting in my chest. The idea that she's already opening the door to someone new when I'm still struggling to process the fact that she's closing the door on me, it's unbearable. I don't want to paint her as the villain. She has every right to move on. to look for happiness elsewhere. But the timing feels cruel, even if it's not intentional. I'm already shattered by the separation itself, and having to sit in the same house while she chats with strangers, imagining her laughing or flirting with someone new, makes it impossible to function. It's wrecking my sleep, it's wrecking my mood, and it's making it nearly impossible for me to be fully present for the kids. I keep telling myself that I should be strong, that I should accept that it's over, that she doesn't owe me anything anymore. But the truth is, I don't want her to move on. I still love her. And I know I wasn't the most loving or supportive partner. I know I withdrew when she needed me to be close. I know I left her feeling unseen, unloved, and unvalued. But knowing those things doesn't make it easier to accept the reality of watching her swipe through Tinder as though 17 years together never mattered. It crushes me to admit it, but yes, I'm jealous. Yes, my pride is wounded. Yes, my ego hurts. And yes, there's a lot of self-pity in all of this. But it doesn't change the fact that it's too much for me. The heartbreak of separation is already more than I know how to process. Adding the Tinder activity on top, seeing her actively seek out someone else while I'm still under the same roof, is like pouring salt into an open wound. I don't want to resent her. I don't want to lash out. I don't want to poison what little peace we have left for the sake of the kids. But I also can't keep pretending I can handle this when every part of me is screaming that I can't. So here I am, stuck in this strange limbo. We're separated in her mind, but still living together as a family in practice. It's this half-life where I'm not really her partner anymore, but I'm not free to move on either. And every day it eats away at me. I keep asking myself, has anyone else ever been in this exact situation? This stuck together but separated existence, where you have to share the same house, the same routines, the same kitchen table, but the love and intimacy are gone? It feels like purgatory. What's worse is trying to cope with the fact that she's actively dating while I'm still under the same roof. I haven't even processed the separation. I haven't even accepted it fully because my heart doesn't want to. And yet here I am, hearing the late-night pings from her phone, knowing she's swiping, chatting, maybe even planning to meet someone else. And all I can do is lie there, staring at the ceiling, feeling like I've been erased. I keep questioning myself. Am I being unreasonable asking for boundaries? Is it wrong for me to say, no dating while we're still living together, at least for a set period of time? Part of me worries I'm asking too much, trying to control something that's no longer mine to control. But another part of me feels it's just common decency. A wound can't heal if it's being reopened every single day. And right now, every ping, every late-night conversation feels like another cut. What I want, what I desperately need, are coping strategies. How do other people do this? How do you keep it together for the kids when you're falling apart inside? I love my 2 children more than anything on this planet. They are my whole world, my only anchor. But they're also seeing me unravel, and that's not fair on them. I don't want them to look back and remember their dad as a broken shell of a man. And yet, I feel so destroyed that I've started thinking irrational thoughts, like leaving the country just to escape this. The idea has crossed my mind more than once. What if I found a job in Dubai or somewhere abroad, where my accommodation was covered, and I could keep paying the mortgage and other expenses from afar? Financially, maybe it could work. Emotionally, it would probably be a disaster. I'd lose the daily contact with my kids, the 2 humans I love most in the entire world, and maybe the only 2 left who love me without condition. But that's how bad it's gotten. I'm actually weighing up whether disappearing thousands of miles away might hurt less than living under this roof, watching her move on in real time. That's how torturous this has become. It's not that I want to leave my kids, not at all. It's that I don't know if I can survive like this. I keep thinking, maybe if I could just hold on a little longer, therapy would start to help. Maybe I could build resilience, find healthier ways to cope. Maybe I could learn to detach, to stop taking her actions so personally. But right now, it feels impossible. Right now, I'm just hanging on by a thread. I'm scared that thread is going to snap.